So we have my 95, I call the 95 or the white truck, on the hoist. And the reason, well, there's a couple of reasons I have it on the hoist. One, it needed an oil change. So we're doing an oil change. Two, I need to do some turbo testing on a P-pump 12 valve. So we are going to pull these compounds out, which I do like the way these work. They don't make as much power as I would like the truck to make. So these won't be going back in. I'm not sure what we're going to do with these yet, but these won't be going back in. We will put eventually, but we might be swapping the motor out. Might be swapping the motor out. But we're going to put a HX30 modified HX35 in here with stock downpipe and all that type of stuff. So I just figured I would talk about that before I'm going to pull these out. Other than I'm going to finish changing the oil. There's a couple little things I want to fix. I have a coolant leak that I need to fix, which I've already fixed once, but I was lazy and didn't do it the way I should have done it, and it's biting me because now I have to do it again. So probably do that when the turbo's off, just because it's easy to get in there. And I guess let's get after switching the turbo out. And I'm not going to change fuel or anything. Just swap turbo, see how it runs. We're going to try 3 different turbochargers in here, drivability wise, and then we will probably, I don't know about on the dyno side of things. We'll see. We might put it back on the dyno again and test with all the 3 different turbochargers, see when it comes on, power. But I'll do videos on drivability and stuff for you guys that are interested in one of those turbochargers and injectors and all that stuff. So let's get into pulling these babies out. We got that out of there. It did not take very long. If you have these things set up so they're easy to take out, it is nice that they're easy to take out. Not that you want to be taking them out constantly, but I seem to do that. I think it took me about 45 minutes or so. I wasn't killing myself doing it either. And this hasn't been in there a long time. It's been there maybe a year or so. But we're going to try one of my turbochargers, put it in there, see how it works. But I do have to make a downpipe because the downpipe, well, on the exhaust side, we have this flange. So I'm going to have to grab a downpipe that I have and then mate one of those flanges to it so that this will all fit in there. It makes it easy to take it in and out. So So that's what we're doing. But I'm going to put turbocharger in there first. Yeah, because we have to mount all that up. So let me go grab the turbo we're going to use. I got the turbine housing on there. You guys have seen me put turbine housings on, just bolted on there. This is a 10 centimeter housing that I've modified that goes onto a 3 foot. And then we've bored the center out for a 67-76 turbine wheel to go in. So this turbo is going to be a 64-67 that we're putting on here, and I am hooking it up to a stock style 4-inch downpipe. The only thing is that the rear housing has been bored, and then I port matched or like matched the size here to the same size as that, just so that it wasn't trying to get rid of turbulence and stuff. We don't want turbulence problems. But I'm going to put this on, and then we're going to fit the downpipe, because like I said before, this truck, because I had modified it down there, we're going to have to modify the end of that pipe, I think, or change something. We got to figure something out. So I'll get that on there, get the downpipe in, then I'll... Basically got her done here now. It definitely needs a bath, but that isn't happening today. All I got to do is fill the coolant up. I did put the S&B air intake that I had here. I have to thank Jason for that. He gave me that for doing some testing, so I figured I might as well put it on here now that it actually fits, which is ironic. This is the very first intake, like bought-in intake I've ever owned on this truck, which is funny enough. Oh, actually, I do need one more thing. I have to find one of the pieces to hold these lines. One of them was, the one that was on there was cracked, so go to the tickle trunk and get one of those. But we gotta fill this with coolant, and yeah, basically we're done. We can take it for a drive. So I am gonna fill it with coolant, put that little piece on there, warm it up, and then we'll take you for a drive.
All right, guys. So we've got a development truck. The turbo works okay. On more closer investigation, I wasn't paying attention, should have measured. So this is actually a 64-64 with that tight housing on it. It is definitely not enough air, or enough turbine, I should say, for this much fuel. But something that I noticed before the last couple times that I've driven the truck, that's why I haven't really been driving the truck just lately, is I thought it had a bit of a misfire or something funky was going on. And it is way worse with this turbocharger on it. So I don't know if you guys will be able to hear it or not, but if you want to listen, you can. The truck idles perfect, but it's got a misfire. I don't know if you can hear it in the video or not. It goes through the misfire though. So we gotta figure that out before I do more testing. I am gonna pull this turbocharger back off though. I wanted to try a 67 turbine because I think the 64 is a little bit too small for what we're wanting to do. But you don't know unless you test. Also, I really should have somebody in the truck with me when I'm trying to video. I tried to video a little bit. It's really hard when you're doing it by yourself. So anyways, we're gonna bring the truck back in the shop here. And I'm gonna pull the injectors out of it. We're gonna check the injectors, see if that is an issue. Shouldn't be, but I have been rat bagging pretty hard on the truck. So it is possible that I might have hurt something, but I don't know. This injection pump is a used injection pump. No idea, don't know nothing about it. I don't know. So, and the fuel that I was running in there was old fuel. So yeah. Could have something to do with that? No, it's because I switched over to the other tank and it's got fresh diesel fuel in it. I haven't had any black diesel in it for a while. Shoot. Under no load, it runs perfect though. definitely got the tranny hot. Tranny's warm. Actually, a long time since I've seen that little light come on. Don't mind the dust. Little tranny temp gauge. So we're gonna let this thing cool off a little bit because I was just rat bagging on it pretty good. And yeah, balls. All right, well, good thing I had a new vehicle to drive. I'm gonna show you that in this video or not, or another video, but I bought a different vehicle to drive. The van is now retired. Before I bring the truck in, I need to clean up this mess because it is a disaster. All right, guys, so we got the injectors out and I tested them. They're all popping right where I want them to. No seat leakage. Everything seems to be good with the injectors. So I'm going to do a compression test, make sure that's kosher. The truck idles perfect, so I don't think it's compression. So I'm thinking maybe it's injection pump, which isn't... I have an injection pump for the truck. Wow, I have a bunch of injection pumps we could put in it. But the one that I wanted to put in, I actually wanted to put in that engine, which is the P-Pump 6.7. That wasn't the first gen. I was thinking about putting it in here. The problem is this needs a body. See my conundrum? I really like the P-Pump 6.7. It'd be cool if it was in here. Then this thing needs a bunch of work. I just want this thing to work. So I think what we're going to do is I'm going to do a compression test, make sure we're kosher there. If we're not kosher there, then we're tearing the engine out. We'll be putting that in. Or I guess I do have... I guess I could put a VP44 engine in. I have a VP44 engine. We could P-pump that. Maybe. I was actually a customer we built the engine for, and now he doesn't want it. So, yeah. Sometimes you get a free core that way. It sucks because we built it, put the money into it and all that jazz the way he wanted it built, and now he doesn't want it. Anyways. Don't do that to shops. It's a real good way to not have service ever again. AKA that guy. Like I said, I'm going to do a compression test on it. If compression comes back good, I guess we're pulling the injection pump. And let's do the compression test. All right, so I'm just going to show you guys how to do a compression test quickly if you're interested in doing it. You will need this adapter for a 12 valve, and then you also need a compression test tool. This one is an Ultra Pro one, a Napa one, and I'll show you here in a minute how to do that. So what you need to do is put this in. Put this in. And then you want to snug it down. It doesn't have to be like ripping tight or anything. I prefer to do this when the engine is warm myself. And if you have the injectors out on a 12 valve, the intake is off, so there's no restriction as far as that goes. Got your gauge. You do have to roll it over. There is a plug right here. It's usually pinned right here on the inner fender. The brown wire is your starter wire. You want to unplug your fuel solenoid so it doesn't shoot fuel out the injection pump. And you just roll it over until it doesn't go any higher. That's that easy. And the good news on the engine is they're all basically exactly the same. Like within a needle width, which I think is 10 pounds, I think. Something like that. Not very, it's basically identical. So that's good. Other than now we have to take the injection pump out. But this is the game that we play. I'm lucky to be able to swap parts and have parts and all that stuff. I realize for somebody like, if you guys are doing this and you don't have extra parts, it's a big deal. You don't have an injection tester, compression tester, all that stuff. But if you guys want to play with this stuff, I do recommend for you guys to have this. I will put a link in the description to a compression tester. I will put a cheap one and an expensive one, just so you have an option. I prefer the expensive one. I usually prefer more expensive tools than cheaper tools. Just how I am. A better quality tool never hurts my feelings. But you know, if you haven't got the cash to buy the more expensive tool, then you know, it is what it is. I understand. So I guess we're pulling the injection pump out.